Hi there, Prairie Plant Girl here. So, still have parsnips in the ground. We had a big snowstorm there last week, and today looks like it's going to be the nicest day now, probably until the end of the year. It's supposed to get up to 10 degrees and the sun's supposed to shine, but then it's supposed to start cooling down and we'll probably get highs of half that, and I'm sure it'll just consistently be getting cooler. So I thought I would take that opportunity to pull these parsnips. The ground has gotten really soaked. This was covered in snow just a few days ago. So my parsnips have been in the ground now since the spring. I think they're hollow crown, but I'm not sure. I got rid of the package, so I'm not positive what I planted here anymore. Man, it smells good out here today. Hey, Bus? I think there must have been a cat in the yard last night. You're really sniffing. Anyway, so I just leave my parsnips. They probably have been full grown, I'm guessing, for months already. And I just leave them in the ground. And usually it's quite dry here, so usually that's fine. But it's gotten quite wet with all that snow that we just had. And I want to get them out of the ground here just so they don't rot or anything. When I dig my parsnips, I like to just store them in a bucket of sand. So I've just grabbed this bucket here, and I'll just, once I've dug them and cleaned them, I'll give them a little rinse to get the worst of the dirt off, and then I'll just kind of layer them in here, standing upright, and then just pour sand around them, and then I just keep them in my garage. It's insulated, it won't freeze in there. We actually do keep it a little bit heated. Hey! Get out of there. What are you doing? Get out. Out. Buster, get out. What are you doing? So the garage, we do keep a little bit heated, but not much. So they're usually around like 5 to 10 degrees in there. And they usually store for a few months for me like that. And that is more than enough for what I'll need for the parsnips. So I brought out the bucket, like I said. I have my compost sifter actually sitting just kind of in the front bottom of your screen there probably. Gloves, because it's going to be wet and it's a little bit chilly out. And my garden fork. So I'll just dig them up, shake the dirt off, and I'm going to lay them on the sifter just to try and, so I can hopefully get as much of the dirt off as I can. I guess I'll have to grab some sectors because I'll cut the tops off so they're just a little bit of top left. And once I've got most of the dirt cleaned off, I'll pile them in here and grab some clean sand to just put over top of them. Oh man, Buster's just sniffing up today, sniffing everything he can. So let's get this job done. The sun's shining nice. It's a nice day, no wind. I'm gonna see with the ground so wet. I was going to see if I just pull some out, but I think I'll just, there's nothing else in this bed. I'm just going to dig them. Be faster. So I'm just going to put the fork down. So there's actually a double row here. So there's one row about here and one row about here. So I'm just going to dig down the side and try and go straight down beside the parsnips so I'm not hitting them. As deep as I can. And I'm just going to kind of wiggle them around a bit. And loosen them. So that's the first one. Here's a nice one. I think I'm actually going to come and chop these. The tops are tangled up together. I'm going to come through and just cut the tops off real quick. I don't need the tops, and they're really mashed together from all that snow on them. So if I can just kind of cut them all away right now, it'll be easier to pull them out. So when I store my parsnips, I usually cut so they still have a little bit of top on. You can also pull the top off. I do the same thing with carrots. It looks like there's some heavy fertilizer there. That's what makes them so furry, is lots of fertilizer, nitrogen. And I did have squash and things and cucumbers in here that I was fertilizing pretty heavy, so might come across some of that. Hold on when you read out. Okay. So these will just go in the compost. So now let's try and pull them out now that those tops are out of the way. That's a nice one. Looks like it started to hit our native clay soil underneath there. So my raised beds are only about 20 centimeters deep or so, so they go down and then they curve sometimes. Uh-oh, that guy hit something too. Looks like I disturbed a nest of ladybugs when I moved all that foliage and leaves. There was several in here. I don't know how well you can see them all. There's one there, another one back there. There's more over here. Saw another one over here. Oh yeah, there he is. More over. Where'd that guy go? Right there. Yeah. So it's still warm enough, the ladybugs are out, but they're looking for somewhere to huddle up at night for sure right now. They don't like me digging in all these leaves. Don't worry, I left them lots down here. Okay, so that's not too bad of a harvest. I have a few that are quite nice size, some that are definitely not. So I'll try and use these very small ones up sooner than the larger ones like this. Some of them still have long stems, so I'll cut those off. But I'm just going to put them into this bucket, and I'll try and sort them by size a little bit too, so that way I can pull off of one end sooner to get the smaller parsnips out first and eat them, especially because the smaller ones, it can be hard to peel them, and especially as they start to soften as they get a little bit older. So if I can just scrub them real well and not peel them at all, then that's perfect. And sometimes I can get away with that for all of them as long as I have them, but not always. So if I can keep the larger ones in case they need to be peeled, that's a good idea. This wasn't as much as I was expecting. I had them really crammed in here. I had a row of cucumbers here right against this side of the garden bed, and then I had a lot of pumpkins and squash and things on the other like half of the bed. And I think as it got down this way towards the back of the bed here, there just probably wasn't enough sunlight for them to grow well, because they had germinated better than this, but I had a huge blank spot kind of towards the back of the bed here, and I think that's what happened with that. But it's okay, a harvest is a harvest, and I'm good with that. So I'm just gonna set these down. I've given this a shake to get most of the dirt off. I'm just going to take my bucket and lay them in, and now some of them are going to be a little bit tall for this bucket, but that's okay. I'll wind up putting a towel or something over top of it anyways. So just take the largest, and I'll just get them as buried in the sand as I can, like this one here. Probably gonna have to kind of scooch the root over, and it'll bend a little bit, and that's fine. Just kind of lay them in here. Anything that still has the leaves on it, I'll come back through and cut off. before they go into storage. But this should just give you an idea what I'm going to do with them and how I store them. Now, sometimes people ask me how I eat parsnips. My favorite way is to cut them up, kind of dice them up, and just coat them with some olive oil and whatever spices and seasonings I'm feeling in the moment, and just roast them in the oven. I like to mix them with squash and carrots. I really like that combination. The sweetness is just right that way. Sometimes I'll slice them up and I'll just boil them. And sometimes I'll just eat them with like butter and salt, pepper that way. Or sometimes I'll put some, after they've cooked and gotten, you know, just kind of fork tender, I'll melt some honey and like cinnamon on them, and they're really good like that too. So really, they're one of those foods that you can make kind of more savory or kind of a sweeter side dish. And they pair well. You can mash them up and have them with potatoes or cauliflower mashed up. They pair well. Though I really like not only the flavor combination, but the color combination of having them with, like I said, squash or carrots. I think that works really well. I don't think I need to save this one. Okay, so there they are. Like I said, I'm just going to pour some clean sand over them, and I'll put, like I said, a towel or the lid for this container even just loosely on top, just to block any light. There are windows in my garage, so I don't want light shine on here, encouraging them to continue growing. But yeah, that's all right. And I probably won't even need these to last me more than a month and a half. It's not very many parsnips, but still something that'll be out of my garden that I can rely on to eat for a little while here when the growing season is over. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.